Okay, disclaimer. To the very best of my knowledge, the story is true. I don't expect to convince you. Truth be told, I've had a hard time coming to terms with it myself. Cliché as it may be, I really am a rational person, and if not for this, I would probably be the most stone-faced atheist you'd ever meet. But after much internal struggle and debate, I have come to the conclusion that there are things in life that simply can't be explained with reason, at least in the form of which we know it, logic. For all that the trust we place in it is really nothing more than a candle, all too easily snuffed out, and when it is gone, we are left alone in the dark, and everything we would scoff at by daylight suddenly becomes very believable. Alright, before I wax too melodramatic, here's my story. I was very young, only 4 or 5 at most, before either of my siblings were born. It was just Mommy and Daddy and me living in our little house in Great Bend, Kansas. Very quaint. We were a young family, without much money, and most of our furniture was second-hand. It was middle of the day, summer, hot, boring. I was playing marbles by myself on the thin carpet beside the huge, old, flower-patterned couch. Mum was down the hall in the kitchen, and Dad was at work. Why I was trying to roll marbles around on the carpet, I do not know. We had a perfectly good linoleum floor, after all, but there I was, swishing the marbles back and forth, happily bouncing them into each other. Then, in my overzealous enthusiasm, I rolled too hard. My favourite marble, the clear, ruby-red one, zipped into the dark space under the couch and was lost. Damn it! Dad wasn't home, and he was the only one strong enough to move that huge old couch for me. I'd have to get the marble back myself. I reached my hand under the couch, tentatively at first, then deeper, encountering no marbles. I pulled my hand out in disappointment. Then a hand reached under from the couch, grabbed back at me. I remember the image vividly, and I suspect I always will. It was a slim hand, with tapered fingers, a woman's hand. It was gnarled and wrinkled, as if aged, and it was dead black. Not black as in African, black as in dead. Of course, back then, I didn't know what corpses blackened as they composed, so I didn't know what black meant. The hand reached out to me as far as it could, which was just up to the wrist. Then it retreated back under the couch. Then it emerged again, this time pushing with it a little crumpled up plastic bag with a logo on it I didn't realise. It waited, as if expecting me to take the bag, and then, when I didn't, it pulled the bag back under the couch and was gone. I got up, walked to the kitchen, and told my mummy what happened. Why didn't I run screaming, or at least run? I really don't know. All I can say is, I was a little kid, a hand reaching out from under the couch, and it didn't seem like that huge a deal. I hadn't yet learned what was and was not permissible in reality. I had no worldview. Mum was sceptical, but walked me back to the couch and explained how I was probably imagining things. She even reached her hand under the couch to convince me that nothing was down there. Later, Dad lifted up the couch for me, and the only thing under it, of course, my missing marble, plus a few more marbles I didn't even remember losing. But here's the scary part. For years, I remembered this. I even developed a weird fantasy of little hand people living under the couch. And I, in my childlike innocence, believed that they would catch me and take me away if I ever reached into their domain again. Then, as I grew older, I wrote the memory off as a dream I had as a child. Cute, but silly. Then, a few years ago, I recounted the story to my mother. She gave me a funny look, and told me she remembered it, because, after all, she had been there. She told me that she remembered me coming to her in the middle of the day and telling her about the hand under the couch, and remembering being highly disturbed by my story. Since I was an extremely quiet, well-behaved kid who didn't ever lie. Then she told me about the couch herself. According to her, she and Dad had gotten the couch from the estate of an old woman who had actually died on it. This was the first time I had heard about this, but it sure explained why they got rid of the couch within a month of my story. But here's the part that truly frightens me. Even to this day, the part that I have to try so hard to get out of my mind some nights. Remember that bag that the hand pushed towards me? I've never forgotten the logo that was on it. And recently, as in a few years ago, I saw the same logo again, on what looked like the same type of bag, in a hardware store. It was a bag of utility razor blades.